Good morning. Good morning. Here we are. We are on day 9. Yay! Happy Sunday. And we're just going to jump right in. We've been doing a lot of work on our thinking. We've had gratitude lists. We've had getting down in there into our deepest thoughts and our wounds. So today we're going to talk about temptations. And the verse of the day is from James 1:13 through 14. When tempted, no one should say, God is tempting me. For God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he tempt anyone. And how many times when something comes up and we feel tempted that we almost blame God and get mad at God, like, why do you keep doing this? When in actuality, it's us. And we should be pointing the finger at us. Like, why am I doing this? Why do I keep going to this same space? So for me, my temptations, I've mentioned this before, television, I can just zone out in front of the TV pretty easily, very easily. Not pretty easily, like, let's just call it out, call it what it is. That sucker goes on and I'm like, and it doesn't even matter what it is, unless it's something, I don't like gore. I don't like horror. I don't like blood, that kind of stuff. And I don't do the sex stuff. So if it's that, I'm fine. I can totally walk away. But sometimes even a children's television show, a rerun of like a Seinfeld episode, something like that, could easily draw me in. So anyway, so mine is temptation. So once you can identify that and realize that, it can help you, because here's the thing. And on the journal prompt, it says, we're going to be honest, write out what gets you on the temptation train, and then include your triggers. Okay, so when I am feeling overwhelmed, like there's so much to do, I don't know where to start. You just feel like the list is so long, you're exhausted. What do I even do? That draws me into just, you know what, I'm overwhelmed. I'm just going to chill. And so I'll go turn the TV on and just zone out. And that's not getting me anywhere, because now all that list hasn't gone away, because these are things I need to do. So then it just exasperates the situation. So then I get mad at myself. Then I go into self-loathing. And why are you so lazy? Why didn't you just get this done? It took 10 minutes. It's all it took. And here you are wasting all this time. So then you go through the negative self-talk. So that's where it's like, okay, if you can identify when you jump into those spaces, then when you hit that trigger, you can go, oh, if I just do these things, you don't have to do like the whole list, but just get like those major ones done. Then you can be at that peace. And then you can, when you do sit in front of the television or whatever it is you wanted to do, as long as it's not horrible, and we'll get into that, then it's fine. And what I mean by like horrible, I mean like the temptation to just flat out sin. So there's a difference to the temptation. For me, is a distraction. And then sometimes there's the temptation to just walk right into sin. And so we have to really be careful, like, what are we doing? Are you having an affair? Okay, that's walking right into sin. I mean, we shall not commit adultery. That's not good. Are you stealing? You got to make ends meet. You don't have money, so you have temptation. If I just take those couple of things, then I can eat and get through the day. That's a sin. That's just flat out stealing. And then I want to jump in and I want to talk about some other things. Let me find it on my earlier here. Looking up this Bible verse. I was reading the other day because I think we get stuck on what is sin and what isn't sin, especially when you think about temptation. And so I just want to read you this verse from Proverbs chapter 6. We're starting at verse 16. There are 6 things the Lord hates, 7 that are detestable to him: haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked schemes, feet that are quick to rush into evil, a false witness who pours out lies, and a person who stirs up conflict in the community. Okay, so here's some more stuff that could get you into temptation. Gossip, talking about someone, telling a story, spreading a little, oh, well, did you know? Did you hear what Betty did? I always use Betty. Sorry, Betty, if your name is Betty. That's my name. Did you see what Betty was wearing? Are you trying to stir things up? Okay, God doesn't like that, like at all. Because the thing is he sees your heart. He sees what's going on inside. And it's like, why are you doing that? What did Betty ever do? Are you upset with Betty? Who cares? So you got to check your heart. So temptation can be stepping into those things, and I love the when somebody talked about one of the definitions of sin is anything that pulls you from God, anything that is in place of God, so getting in the way. So it could be lots of things, because there's lots of things listed in the Bible in different places. So this one, I just, when I was reading it the other day, it stuck to me because I think this is something that everyone does. The haughty eyes, a lying tongue, a false witness that pours out lies, gossip, stuff like that. And you got to remember, it's like when you're talking about Betty, whether Betty did it or not, are you helping? Does it matter? Is there really anything in there that's of value? And why not just go talk to Betty and see what's going on? Maybe she could use a friend. Maybe she could use some insight, some help, and so when you have your temptations, there's different kind of levels, different styles of temptation. Another one for me, the moment, like when my husband moved out, I poured out all the alcohol. I don't have an alcohol problem, but I knew it would be a temptation. I knew it would be, because it's easy to have a couple drinks and everything, that kind of, not drunk, but you just have like what you call like that buzz, that kind of chill space where all of those worries and hurts sometimes just kind of melt away for a moment. They don't go away. It doesn't help you at all. But maybe for that hour or so, you don't think about those things. The bummer is that you think about them like tenfold after the alcohol wears off. And then all of a sudden everything's even compounded more, especially because, okay, so what did I say in that moment? And so I've just made everything worse, not helping. So that's a temptation, and I knew it would be a temptation, so I got rid of it. Some people, their temptation is food. They have their comfort foods, and they eat a lot of that comfort food, and then they just make themselves feel worse and worse and worse, because now they are overweight. Now they have health issues. Now they need to move their body, but their body hurts because of what they're eating. And so, because, a lot of the sugars and the bad foods and all that stuff, it wreaks havoc on your joints. And when you gain weight, your joints hurt because your body's trying to carry on extra weight. And so it's hard. It's hard on your knees. It's hard on your hips. It's hard on your back. It's hard on your feet. It's hard on, everything it just creates more problems. And so those times when you're sitting in those spaces, it's like that temporary gratification. It feels good for a little bit. That food tastes so good. The alcohol, tastes good. It just makes me just relax and go, oh yeah. Watching the TV, just zoning out, just makes me just be like, oh yeah, no worries, no nothing. I'm just gonna sit here, um, telling that juicy story about Betty. Makes you feel good at everyone's attention on you, and they're like, ooh, look what she knows. Oh, poor Betty. Yeah, let's talk about Betty. All those things. It's just this weird temporary gratification that we get, and it's very fleshy and icky because afterwards, what's left? You just made actually your life a little worse by stepping into those spaces. So, and sometimes, like the gossip thing, when you feel overlooked or unseen, that's when you want to jump in because then you are seen. People are looking at you, people do want to hear you. But do they really? When all you're telling them is a icky story that may or may not be true. So my encouragement to you is to really sit and be honest about all those temptations. What is it you do? Why do you do what you do? Remember, this whole 30 days is about retraining our brain. It's about getting our thinking in line with Jesus. And our thinking is not in line with Jesus if we are constantly riding the temptation train. If we're just sitting there. And the other thing is do you ride the train thinking about what you want to do? Like, ooh, I would really like to go have a big bowl of ice cream, but I need to go to the store. And so you waste time just thinking about doing something you shouldn't be doing. So, and maybe you don't do that. I do that. And so it's this battle. But the thing is you have the power to win the battle. You totally do. You have complete control over your mind and your thinking. You just do. So who are you going to have driving your trains of thought? This is where we want God to be the conductor. He's the one that knows where your thoughts should go. And so you have to. But you play a really big part in it. It's your mind. So really be honest with yourself. Write out your temptations. Write out, what gets you to that space. Is it overwhelm? Is it stress? Did you see someone, that you have a big hurt with, and when you have conversations with them, it just takes you out and you just want to go home and do nothing? Did you have an argument with your spouse and you just feel tired? Did you get news that someone is maybe got a cancer diagnosis, and so it makes you sad and you go into grief, and so you just want to check out? You don't want to think, about all the things because you're just sad, and so you just want to eat the wrong food, drink the wrong stuff, watch the wrong things, go to the wrong places, So just really sit in that space and ask God to reveal it to you, and then be willing to change it because you've got the power to do it. And so so that's my encouragement to you today. Have fun. Don't get on the temptation train today. Let's try and get that one decommissioned. All right. Have a good day. Happy Sunday, and we will see you tomorrow.